Hello and welcome and namaste from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Gautam Roy. Coming up in the next 1 hour. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval stresses enhanced maritime cooperation between countries joined by shared maritime geographies as he chairs the 7th Colombo Security Conclave in Delhi. Nitish Kumar takes oath as Chief Minister of the eastern state of Bihar for a record 10th time in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A total of 26 ministers also sworn in. 56th International Film Festival of India or IFFI is set to begin in Goa. Over 240 films from 81 countries to be showcased in the 9-day-long extravaganza. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has hosted the 7th meeting of the Colombo Security Conclave National Security Advisors in New Delhi today. It brings together key regional partners to strengthen security cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. Doval held the discussions with his counterparts from Maldives, Mauritius, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. Seychelles participated as an observer and Malaysia as a special guest. NSA Doval welcomed the dignitaries and highlighted that the forum has gained immense significance amidst rapidly changing and challenging global security environment. The NSA also noted that the ocean is our biggest heritage and urged for enhanced maritime cooperation between countries joined by shared maritime geographies.
It's my great pleasure to welcome all of you, and I wish all of you a very happy and a comfortable stay here. Esteemed National Security Advisors of the member states of the Colombo Security Conclave, Excellencies, Secretary General of the Colombo Security Council Secretariat, and distinguished delegates. A very good morning to all of you. It is indeed a pleasure to be amongst friends and to host all of you in New Delhi for the 7th meeting of the NSAs of the CSC. The CSC has gained immense significance today in the midst of a rapidly changing and challenging global security environment. Realizing the growing import of strengthening regional partnership amongst the countries of the Indian Ocean region, we came together in 2020 to reinforce the cooperation in vital matters of security through the establishment of Colombo Security Conclave. I am happy that our engagements have gained momentum since the 6th NSA meeting that was held in Mauritius in December 2023. The strength and success of this August group lies in our common vision, consultations and convergence of objectives. We have been building our capacities through regular engagements across the 5 pillars of cooperation. We adopted the CSC Charter and the MOU on the establishment of the CSC Secretariat in August last year. We also appointed the first Secretary General of the CSC earlier this year, and I am pleased to welcome him also to this meeting. I would like to place on record the excellent coordination by the Secretariat of the CSC in this regard. Excellencies, the ocean is our biggest heritage. It is the engine that propels our economies. As countries joined by shared maritime geographies, it is our responsibility to ensure the safety, security, and stability of the region. We need to shape a favorable environment to nurture an open, inclusive maritime domain anchored firmly on a rule-based order. We also need to work closely for the preservation and use of our common maritime heritage. India is committed to continue working closely with all CSC countries to enhance our collective capacities in dealing with the evolving and emerging security challenges. I am confident that our deliberations today will be productive, are forward-looking, and I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you very much.
Now, Janata Dal United Chief Nitish Kumar has taken oath as Bihar's Chief Minister in the eastern part of India for a record 10th time on Thursday. The swearing-in ceremony took place at capital Patna's historic Gandhi Maidan, which has hosted his inaugurations in 2005, 2010 and 2015. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah and other prominent leaders of the NDA attended the swearing-in ceremony in Patna. Nitish Kumar was first elected as leader of JDU Legislature Party during the meeting with the new MLAs held at his official residence in Patna on Wednesday. He was also unanimously elected as leader of the National Democratic Alliance or NDA Legislature Party ahead of the formation of a new government under his leadership in the state on Thursday. Samrat Chaudhary and Vijay Kumar Sinha were also elected as leader and deputy leader of the BJP Legislature Party respectively during the meeting held at the BJP state headquarters, and they were among the ministers sworn in. And Prime Minister Modi has extended best wishes to all those who've taken oath as ministers in the Bihar government. In a social media post, he said, and I quote, "This is a wonderful team with dedicated leaders who will take Bihar to new heights, wishing them the very best." End quote. And let's now tell you a little bit more about the 10th time Chief Minister of Bihar. Nitish Kumar was sworn in as Bihar Chief Minister for the 10th time on the 20th of November, which is Thursday today. He was unanimously elected leader of the NDA Legislature Party meeting. He led the ruling NDA to its second best majority in the state. Nitish Kumar was born on the 1st of March 1951 in Bakhtiarpur, Patna. His native village is Kalyan Bigha in Nalanda district. His father was a Congress leader. Nitish Kumar pursued electrical engineering. He formed the Bihar Engineering College Students Union in 1972 and was elected its president. Let's now take you across to Salman Haider in Patna for more on this. Salman, quite a momentous day. Not just for Nitish Kumar but also Bihar today, and it seems that all the speculation over some things not being sorted out by ministers and who will get what portfolio, that seems to have also been clarified, and it seems that all things are now in place.
Yes, Gautam, indeed it is a momentous day for Bihar because, as you already said, the Chief Minister Nitish Kumar has taken oath 10th times today, on 10th times, and it should be a record in itself. And as far as his cabinet, which today took oath, is concerned, 3 new faces along with 3 female MLAs have been included. One Muslim MLA is also there who has sworn in as a minister. So all along 26 ministers and Chief Minister have taken oath today, and now it is the people's aspirations for which the present cabinet, the new cabinet, is to live up to. So the people's aspirations are high, and the government's challenge is also very high because it has to fulfill all its promises made in Sankalp Patra of NDA. So it remains to be seen how the new government is coping up with the challenges ahead as far as unemployment, migration, and industrialization of the state is concerned. Yes, Gautam.
Agenda that has been charted out as far as the Sankalp Patra is concerned. The government gets cracking on it as soon as possible. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Salman Haider from Patna. Now, Australia's Foreign Minister, Senator Penny Wong, will be holding talks with External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar on Thursday. This will be the 26th meeting between the two leaders. Both the countries are expected to enhance cooperation across cyber and strategic technology, trade, maritime security and defence, among other areas. The visiting Foreign Minister, along with Dr. Jaishankar, will also co-chair the 16th Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue. The high-level meeting marks a significant step in advancing the India-Australia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. On the sidelines of key meetings, Wong also met India's para-athletes at the Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium in New Delhi and underlined the growing partnership between the two nations. She announced support to strengthen athletics and para-athletics in India with a focus on technology and grassroots development.
Cricket pitches to hockey fields, we found common ground through sport, and this connection is a very important pillar of our partnership. And we saw this on full display at the recent one-day International World Cup, where the Indian women's team faced down the Australians in the semi-final, and then you went on to win the tournament. Congratulations, but we're going to get you next time.
Afghanistan's Industry and Commerce Minister Al-Haj Nuruddin Azizi will meet External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar in New Delhi. The Afghan Trade Minister arrived in New Delhi on Wednesday on a 5-day visit to discuss the advancing bilateral trade and investment ties. This is the second ministerial contact between New Delhi and the Taliban regime in Kabul in a month and a half. Last month, Minister of External Affairs Dr. S. Jaishankar met Afghanistan's Foreign Minister Mavlavi Amir Khan Muttaqi in New Delhi. And earlier, the Afghan Trade Minister had visited the India International Trade Fair on Wednesday. The minister toured various stalls at the fair, including the Afghan stalls, showcasing local products to promote business connections. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting Johannesburg in South Africa from the 21st to the 23rd of this month to attend the 20th G20 Leaders Summit. This will be the 4th consecutive G20 summit held in the Global South. On the margins of the summit, the PM is expected to hold meetings with some world leaders. The Prime Minister will also be taking part in the India-Brazil-South Africa Leaders Meeting being hosted by South Africa. And still to come on DD India Newshour. US Justice Department is bound to release all Epstein files within 30 days after Trump signs the bills passed by the US Congress into law. Ukraine Zelensky is set to meet top United States military officials in Kyiv on a fact-finding mission to revive peace efforts in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. And hundreds of evacuations are carried out on Indonesia's main island of Java after its highest volcano, Mount Semeru, erupts.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. We read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, US President Donald Trump has signed a bill which requires the Justice Department to release all unclassified records and materials related to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. The legislation mandates that the files be made public within 30 days, but there are conditions. More in this report.
US President Donald Trump has signed the bill demanding that the Justice Department releases its files on the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The material could shed more light on the activities of Epstein, who socialized with Trump and other notable figures before his 2008 conviction on charges of soliciting a minor for prostitution. Although Trump's signature does not guarantee the file's release, the bill contains exemptions and the investigation that Trump demanded into Democrats' ties to Epstein, which, as per sources, could give the department another reason to keep them confidential. U.S. Attorney General Pamela Bondi has vowed absolute transparency in releasing classified Jeffrey Epstein files following U.S. President Donald Trump's commitment to public disclosure. On February 27th this year, the Department of Justice had released initial pages. FBI Director Kash Patel was tasked to investigate prior omissions. The files, linked to Epstein's sex trafficking of over 250 minors, will be redacted to protect victims' identities. Attorney General Pamela Bondi emphasized upholding constitutional transparency amid renewed scrutiny of Epstein's elite connections as the public awaits further revelations from the ongoing investigation.
We will continue to follow the law, again, while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
Bondi has also confirmed that the Justice Department will release its Epstein-related material within 30 days, as required by legislation that had passed the Republican-controlled House of Representatives and Senate on Tuesday. Bureau Report, DD India.
Now, US President Trump is set to host New York's Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani on Friday. Trump shared the news on his Truth Social platform that the meeting, and I quote, will take place at the Oval Office on Friday, November 21st, end quote. Mamdani spokesperson Dora Pekich confirmed the meeting, saying, as is customary for an incoming mayoral administration, the mayor-elect plans to meet with the president in Washington to discuss public safety, economic security and the affordability agenda that over 1 million New Yorkers voted for just 2 weeks ago, end quote. This will be the first meeting between the Republican leader and the 34-year-old mayor-elect, whom Trump has repeatedly attacked, calling him a communist. Andy George on a fact-finding mission to revive peace efforts in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, now over 3.5 years old. The high-stakes talks follow Zelensky's fruitless Turkey visit and coincide with Russia's massive overnight strikes in Ternopil's apartment blocks, which spiked toxic chlorine levels 6-fold, while blackouts gripped western regions ahead of winter. United Nations officials decried the terror as Moscow advances slowly on the front. German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has said that ongoing talks to provide long-range weaponry to Ukraine would eventually lead to an agreement, including some production in the country, but no details would be communicated. Russian forces in the last weeks have been making gradual advances along parts of the front line and stepping up missile and drone attacks on Ukrainian cities and energy infrastructure, as Kyiv's Western allies look for new ways to sustain weapons and ammunition supplies.
Over the past few months, we have been working intensively with the Ukrainian government to implement projects for long-range fire, as we call it technically. The Ukrainian army is being equipped with such weapon systems. We have agreed not to discuss the details publicly anymore, as we believe that there must be a certain degree of uncertainty on the Russian side as to the extent of our military support. We are doing everything we can to equip the Ukrainian army with weapon systems that have the necessary range, and this will increase in the coming weeks and months, if necessary, to the point where such weapon systems will also be produced in Ukraine itself.
Kosovo Prime Minister Albin Kurti's ruling party failed to secure enough parliamentary votes to form a government, pushing the country towards a snap election. Veteven Dossier came first in an inconclusive election in February, but has failed to form a government so far. Opposition parties have also not taken the rein, saying they would rather go to the polls than form a government. Months of political deadlock in the small Balkan country have contributed to a lack of reforms, the stalling of infrastructure projects and the freezing of some European Union and World Bank funding, and have also hindered Kosovo's aspirations of EU membership. According to the Constitution, President Vjosa Osmani has now set an election date in the coming days. Bangladesh's Supreme Court reinstated the non-party caretaker government system for conducting national elections, overturning its 2011 verdict that had abolished the arrangement. According to the verdict, the caretaker system will take effect after the next national election, which will be held under the current interim government. The restored system will be implemented for the 14th parliamentary polls and onwards. A 7-member bench of the appellate division delivered the unanimous judgment on Thursday morning. The ruling revives the 13th Amendment, introduced in 1996, to ensure free, fair and credible polls under a neutral interim administration. The caretaker model was first adopted in 1996 to oversee elections for a 90-day period. It was abolished through the 15th Amendment in 2011, following a Supreme Court verdict that declared the 13th Amendment unconstitutional. Let me now take you across to Dhaka live. Joining us on the phone line is DD India's Naval Singh Parmar. Good afternoon to you, Naval Singh. What do you make of this particular order of the Supreme Court, and to what extent does it ensure that the plans put in place by the interim government will be carried out for holding elections?
Well, the judgment of the Supreme Court, in which they have reinstated the caretaker government system, that is welcomed by the analysts. But the writer is that in next election, which is 13th parliamentary election of Bangladesh, which will be held according to Dr. Yunus' announcement in first of the half of the February 2026, and that election will be conducted under the interim government, Yunus-led interim government in Bangladesh. Actually, provision is not applicable to next election. That is the cause of worry for many analysts, that this government already completed 1 year and 3 months, and again 3-4 months after 4 months, if election happen, then it will have almost 1.5 years of tenure. And caretaker government system and interim government system both are different things. This is an interim government system where Dr. Yunus is heading the advisory council, and many of the advisors of advisory council are accused of bipartisan working. BNP, the major opposition party, also accused some of the advisors of the interim government of Yunus that they are working to favor certain political parties in Bangladesh nowadays. At the same time, Jamaat-e-Islami also accusing the interim government for the favoritism. So, interim government under the Dr. Yunus is a neutral analyst will not call it a neutral, non-partisan government, because it comes with the backing of certain political parties, not the all political parties. And caretaker government, it is for 90 days and for the election purpose only, and without any policy decision making power. But Yunus administration already taken many policy initiatives and policy decisions, like leasing out to the important ports of Bangladesh to the foreign companies, foreign player, and many political parties in Bangladesh are raising questions against the decision taken by the Yunus administration. So the purpose of neutral, non-partisan caretaker government system will be fulfilled or not. It is whether it is a question of the coming days, that how the people of Bangladesh will trust Dr. Yunus administration for the election purpose as a neutral government.
So clearly, it cannot be said whether the next elections in Bangladesh, since they will be held under this interim government, which is facing questions of legitimacy, will the elections also face similar questions as well, as and when they take place. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment, Naval Singh Parmar. Let's now take a look at some other stories making news around the world as well. Hundreds of Indonesians have been evacuated on the main island of Java after Mount Semeru volcano erupted on Wednesday. According to the Indonesia Geological Agency, volcanic activity had largely calmed down but was still fluctuating on Thursday. An eruption by Semeru in 2021 killed more than 50 people and damaged more than 5,000 homes, forcing almost 10,000 people to seek refuge. Famous American puppeteer Jim Henson's most memorable creations are up for auction in California next week. The main items include a pair of shoes worn by Miss Piggy in the Muppets movie, a full-size original Muppet of Uncle Traveling Matt, as well as puppets from Fraggle Rock and characters from the Netflix series The Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance. Paraguay launched its first dengue vaccination campaign on Thursday, focusing on children aged 6 to 8 years old. Paraguay's Health Minister Baran visited a pediatric hospital in San Lorenzo, where the first doses were administered. The rollout marks a significant step in the nation's fight against dengue. And still to come on DD India Newshour. India calls for global action on energy security for small island developing states at the International Solar Alliance leadership session on the sidelines of COP30 in Brazil. IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav says India's semiconductor chip-making capabilities are set to be at par with other major producers by the year 2032 at the Bloomberg New Economy Forum in Singapore. And India's Environment Minister says the first Indian-born female cheetah Mukhi has given birth to 5 cubs.
India did not agree that Hindus and Muslims could not live together. This was a birth of a country or two countries, but it was a birth that was also an abortion, because you were literally killing this country that was being born at that point. Every time a Muslim came to prominence in India, President of India, Chief Justice of India, cricket captains, whatever, it was a standing rebuke of the very Pakistani idea. If a Muslim could achieve all this in India, then why did Pakistan need to be created?
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Gautam Roy, and before we go any further, another look at top stories. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval stresses an enhanced maritime cooperation between countries joined by shared maritime geographies as he chairs the 7th Colombo Security Conclave in Delhi. Nitish Kumar takes oath as Chief Minister of the Eastern Indian state of Bihar for a record 10th time in the presence of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. A total of 26 ministers also sworn in. China ups the ante against Japan, cancels a trilateral meeting also involving South Korea. Taiwan's president shows support for Japan by having Japanese horse sushi after Beijing stops Tokyo's seafood imports. And the 56th International Film Festival of India, or IFFI, is set to begin in Goa. Over 240 films from 81 countries to be showcased in the 9-day-long extravaganza. Now, India has called for united global action on energy security for small island developing states, that is SIDS, at the International Solar Alliance leadership session held on the sidelines of COP30 in Belém, Brazil. Union Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change Bhupendra Yadav delivered the keynote address and noted that the future of energy is clean, local and solar powered. India is proudly the 4th largest renewable energy producer in the world and the 3rd in solar power. He highlighted solar energy as a tool of transformation and social revolution. India has crossed 500 gigawatts of installed electricity capacity, and more than half of it is clean energy. It has already reached 50% non-fossil energy capacity, 5 years ahead of its NDC target. The minister emphasized that over 20 lakh families, 2 million families, have adopted rooftop solar in India, calling it freedom for every household and a mini power plant on every roof. The minister highlighted initiatives lighting up remote and forested areas through the PM Jan-Man scheme and India's major push in energy storage. Bhupendra Yadav also represented India at the 11th Joint Crediting Mechanism Partners Countries meeting on the sidelines of COP30, where he highlighted the importance of cooperative mechanisms at a time when the world seeks scalable, equitable and technology-driven climate solutions. The minister highlighted that the mechanism is expected to facilitate investment, technology deployment and capacity building support for the implementation of advanced low-carbon technologies. He reaffirmed India's commitment to work closely with Japan and all JCM partner countries. Meanwhile, Turkey will host next year's UN Climate Summit, while Australia will lead negotiations under a compromise taking shape in Brazil. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said on Thursday that the COP meetings are the world's central forum for climate action and the agreement would end a long dispute after both the nations bid to host COP31 in 2022 and refused to withdraw. Under the emerging plan, Turkey will serve as summit president, Australia would oversee negotiations and a pre-COP event would be held in the Pacific. Albanese called the arrangement a win for both sides, though talks continue. Australia promoted a Pacific COP and spent $7 million Australian preparing for it, while Turkey, as an emerging economy, says it aims to stress global solidarity over regional concerns.
We're very pleased with the outcome. Turkey will host the conference, but Australia, by having the COP presidency for negotiations, will be in a very strong position, and some might argue in the strongest possible position, because we will benefit from having Pacific issues and the issues confronting Australia that we know Australia is particularly vulnerable for the extreme weather events which we are seeing more intense and more frequent.
Now, President Draupadi Murmu today said the development of tribal communities and the development of the nation are complementary to each other. Addressing a function organized in Ambikapur city of Chhattisgarh today on the occasion of Janjatiya Gaurav Divas or the Tribal Pride Day, the President said that tribal culture is our heritage and identity and it is our duty to preserve it. She also spoke about how people across the country have been giving up the path of violence and joining the mainstream. She added that coordinated efforts by the centre and the state governments will make the elimination of left-wing extremism possible.
छत्तीसगढ़ सहित पूरे देश में लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म का रास्ता छोड़कर लोग विकास की मुख्य धारा से जुड़ रहे हैं। केंद्र और राज्य सरकार के सुविधा सुविराजित और सुसंगठित प्रयासों से निकट भविष्य में ही लेफ्ट विंग एक्सट्रीमिज्म का उन्मूलन संभव हो जाएगा। इसके लिए केंद्र सरकार एवं राज्य सरकार मिलके बहुत सारा कदम उठाए हैं। ये एक बहुत ही संतोषजनक बदलाव है। मुझे विश्वास है कि जनजातीय महानायकों के आदर्शों पर चलते हुए छत्तीसगढ़ के निवासी सशक्त, आत्मनिर्भर और विकसित भारत के निर्माण में अमूल्य योगदान देंगे।
Now, India is set to host the Bloomberg New Economy Forum in October 2026 in New Delhi. This will be the first time the flagship event is hosted in India with the cooperation and support of Prime Minister Modi. While addressing Bloomberg New Economy Forum in Singapore, India's IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnav informed that India's semiconductor chip-making capabilities are set to be at par with other major producers by the year 2032. This showcases the government's urge to strengthen domestic manufacturing. The minister also stressed that social media platforms should take responsibility of what they publish to strengthen trust levels in society.
Social media platforms must start taking responsibility of what they are publishing so that the society at large doesn't get harmed by what they publish. Every company which works in India must follow India's constitution, must follow India's laws. Every platform must understand what is the social structure of the country in which they are operating. How does a platform react to the circumstances? How does it operate in the scenario, the diversity that we have in our country? That must be respected.
Now, the Finance Ministry has flagged reports of fake ED summons as the agency rolls out QR-coded system-generated notices for easy verification. Fake ED summons resembling genuine notices are being used for fraud and extortion. To counter this, the ED now issues system-generated summons with a QR code and unique password. Citizens can verify authenticity through the QR scan or the official ED website. The Finance Ministry reiterated that the ED never conducts digital or online arrests and urged people to stay vigilant. The Indian Army has achieved a major milestone in its push for Atmanirbharta or self-reliance, with 90% of special clothing and mountaineering equipment for troops in super high altitude areas now fully indigenized. Out of 57 items of high altitude SCME, 55 have been indigenized, strengthening logistics resilience and reducing import dependence. The remaining 2 items are under trials and will be indigenized by 2026. In January 2025, the Army rolled out its new Coat Combat digital print designed by NIFT Delhi, featuring a 3-layer technical textile construction for improved performance across terrains. Also, authorities have reiterated that unauthorized use of the Indian Army uniform is a punishable offence. Now, in a delightful breakthrough for India's Cheetah reintroduction initiative, Mukhi, the first Indian-born female cheetah aged 33 months, has given birth to 5 cubs. Foreign Minister Bhupendra Yadav said that this is the first time in recent history that an Indian-born cheetah has reproduced, making it a landmark achievement for Project Cheetah. Successful reproduction by an Indian-born cheetah is a strong indicator of the species' adaptation, health and long-term prospects in Indian habitats. The mother and cubs are doing fine. The minister said that this significant development reinforces optimism about establishing a self-sustaining and genetically diverse cheetah population in India, further advancing the nation's conservation goals. Now, the 56th International Film Festival of India is all set to begin in Goa today. The remarkable event promises to be a grand celebration of global cinema. Over 240 films from 81 countries will be screened during the 9-day mega event. Japan is featured as the country of focus this year's IFFI, while Spain will serve as the partner country. DD India's Deepika gets us an exclusive report from Goa and how it's gearing up for the mega event.
The only film festival in South Asia accredited by International Federation of Film Producers Associations is all set to witness its yet another dynamic edition in Goa. Jointly organized each year by National Film Development Corporation, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India and the Entertainment Society of Goa, along with the Government of Goa, IFFI aims to bring together the world of cinema under one roof. This year will be even more special with a different and grand opening parade that will witness vibrant floats, cultural performances and a spectacular procession led by cultural troupes, production houses and the state government. Apart from that, the parade will also witness the felicitation of noted actor N. Balakrishna for his remarkable contribution to the Indian cinema. The 9-day cinematic extravaganza will feature 240 films from 81 countries. Japan remains the country of focus, whereas Spain is the partner country and Australia as the spotlight country. These are leading this year's international collaborations. Key highlights include restored classics, centenary tributes, and curated global sections. Expanded Waves Film Bazaar provides a platform of creative exchange under a single roof. IFFI 2025 will also witness IFFI Fiesta for seamless entertainment. the debut Cinema AI Hackathon hosted by the Waves Film Bazaar in partnership with the National Film Development Corporation. Now, along with this, masterclasses, panels and knowledge series will also take place. The Creative Minds of Tomorrow, or the CMOT program, with 799 entries this year and 124 selected participants, represents 13 filmmaking crafts. Indian Panorama and New Horizons is also to watch out for, along with women, their debut voices and emerging talent. Interestingly, IFFI 2025 will also honor legendary actor Rajnikant for completing 50 years in cinema, marking a milestone that celebrates the closing ceremony. First ever parade with cultural floats and the participation of production houses, IFFI, Creative Minds of Tomorrow, Waves Film Bazaar, this and a lot more is all set to begin at the 56th edition of International Film Festival of India here in Goa. We'll keep updating you with all the latest with our special broadcast on DD India, so stay tuned with us. With camera person Senthil, this is Deepika reporting for DD India from IFFI, Goa.
And the opening ceremony of IFFI Waves Film Bazaar was held with great fanfare on Thursday. The event was attended by many dignitaries, including Minister of State for the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, Secretary Sanjay Jaju, filmmaker Shekhar Kapoor, Anupam Kher, guest of honor from the Republic of Korea and many others. Waves Film Bazaar is India's premier film market, offering co-production opportunities and networking. Addressing the occasion, Minister of State Dr. Murugan quoted Prime Minister Modi's vision regarding Waves Film Bazaar, saying this year's bazaar will have many engaging activities while serving as a bridge between India and the world.
In this 19th edition of Waves Film Bazaar brings a significant expand of many dynamic marketplaces, strengthening its global footprint this year with a features such as here the co-production market, screen lighting lab, work in progress lab, viewing room, knowledge series. So various activities are going to take place from today onwards up to 24th of this month, this Waves Bazaar.
Also speaking at the inaugural event, Secretary Sanjay Jaju said Waves Bazaar has donned a new look this year based on the vision of Prime Minister Modi, who envisioned craft to commerce and passion to paisa.
IFFI has for decades been India's flagship celebration of cinema, bringing together world cinema and Indian cinema on one platform and showcasing the best of storytelling from across the globe. Friends, Film Bazaar has always been an integral part of IFFI. But if you have noticed, we have come here today in a new avatar called as the Waves Film Bazaar. While IFFI Bazaar has been happening for close to 2 decades now, as all of you are aware, our Honorable Prime Minister gave us the vision to translate craft into commerce, to convert passion into paisa. And that's where we are, at the bazaar.
And still to come on DD India News Hour. Global markets are upbeat after earnings of chipmaker Nvidia beat market expectations and cool concerns over an AI bubble. And holders Italy march into the Davis Cup semi-finals with a commanding 2-0 win over Austria in Bologna. And we show you how Manipur is getting up for the Manipur Sangai Festival 2025.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls' pulls and bears tears. When supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Gautam Roy. Now, major Asian markets including Japan's Nikkei and Korea's Kospi jumped up to 3% on Thursday as strong earnings by chipmaker Nvidia boosted sentiments. Nvidia's earnings beat market expectations and calmed concerns over AI bubble and stretched valuations. The company reported a 62% increase in revenue to a record $57 billion for the 3 months which ended October, driven by strong demand for chips. Sydney, Singapore, Wellington, Mumbai, Bangkok and Jakarta were also up, while S&P 500 and Nasdaq futures also soared. Investors were encouraged by Nvidia's earnings and reports that the US may delay planned semiconductor tariffs. India's Minister for Commerce and Industry Piyush Goyal has addressed India-Israel Business Summit alongside Israeli counterpart Nir Barkat on Thursday. In his address, the minister highlighted India's growth trajectory despite challenging situations both internally and globally.
And post-COVID, we continue for 4 years to be the fastest growing large economy on Mother Earth. And for the next 2 or 3 decades, I assure you friends, India will continue to be the fastest growing large economy. But I can assure you friends, our first quarter growth was 7.8%. Our second quarter numbers are expected soon, will be about 7%. And I think at the end of the year, our year ends on 31st March 26, we will be growing at 7%, well above the world estimates.
Now, Meta announced on Thursday that all Australians under 16 will be removed from Facebook, Instagram and Threads starting the 4th of December, ahead of new national news and laws taking effect on the 10th of December, which requires social media platforms to block underage users or face major fines. Meta said it has begun alerting users aged 13 to 15 that their accounts will soon be inaccessible and will only be restored when they turn 16. Around 500,000 accounts fall in this age group. Teens flagged incorrectly can verify their age through a video selfie or official ID. Meta criticized the rules as vague and unnecessary, arguing that cutting teens off from online communities is not the solution. Australia's tough approach is drawing global attention, though experts warn enforcement may prove difficult. A 3-pointed silver star on the hood has been a global status symbol for decades. But in recent years, Mercedes-Benz has been struggling, partially as it hasn't been able to get enough wealthy buyers behind the wheel. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and is joining me from Berlin to talk about it. Good afternoon, Lars. What's the latest from Mercedes-Benz?
Thanks for having me. Yes, it hasn't been a good year for Mercedes-Benz. Throughout the first 3 quarters, the company has seen profit drop by 60% over the previous year. So no wonder management is no longer merely making adjustments. They are looking into more drastic ways to bring the company back on track. And now CEO Ola Källenius has announced that the company will no longer see itself as a luxury-only brand. And that's the end of a 3-year strategy thought out and implemented by that very same CEO, by Ola Källenius. And here's what happened. 3 years ago, management announced a plan to put profit margin ahead of mass production. And profit margins are higher the more upscale you go. So for a brand already established as upscale, it was a small step to say we'll focus on the high margin business in the luxury segment exclusively. Focus on the S-Class, the AMG sports cars, on the Maybach limousine brand or the powerful G-Class. And at the same time, they would drop the small A-Class entirely. Apparently that strategy didn't work, so now they're changing direction.
We'll have to wait and see if that really helps with Mercedes' overall fate. Thanks a lot for joining us for the moment. Lars Holter from Berlin. And time now to get to some sporting updates as well. Now, Rafael Nadal is returning to the tennis court, and let's tell you about that. What's happened is that he's made a comeback on the tennis court on Wednesday, 12 months to the day since retiring from the sport. The former world #1 and 22-time Grand Slam champion was seen together in a practice session with Filipino youngster Alexandra Ayala, the 50th ranked player on the WTA Tour, at his Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca. Nadal played his final competitive match almost a year ago, on the 19th of November, ending his storied career with a Davis Cup quarterfinal exit against the Netherlands. And speaking of the Davis Cup holders, Italy marched into the Cup semi-finals with a commanding 2-0 win over Austria in Bologna. Even without stars Yannick Sinner and Lorenzo Musetti, the Azzurris showed their mettle in front of the home crowd. Matteo Berrettini battled past Austria's Rodionov 6-3, 7-6, while Flavio Cobolli delivered a dominant 6-1, 6-3 win over Filip Misolic to wrap up the tie. Italy will now face Belgium, who beat France 2-0 in Friday's semi-final. The final 8 continues with Spain taking on the Czech Republic at 2:30 p.m. local time. And back home, the curtain raiser for the Manipur Sangay Festival 2025 took place near Loktak Lake and Kebul Lomjao, home of the endangered Sangay deer, featuring cultural events and local mela. Take a look. With that cultural showcase from India's Northeast, it's time to wrap up this edition of DD India News Hour. Let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. And for those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. It's available on both Android and iOS. Just scan the QR code and download the app right away. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Gautam Roy, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.